Welcome to Personal Finance with George. Today we have Peter Drackakis from Drackakis Advisory in the studio. Peter works with some of the most motivated entrepreneurs in Queensland and helps them scale and grow to the seven-figure upper echelon. Welcome, Peter.
Thanks for having me on the show, George.
Peter, can you give us some insight on what you do and how you help your clients? Because we see small business owners on a day-to-day basis who are frustrated with their current accounting setups as it's reactive and not proactive in growing their businesses. They're also trying to gain a better clarity around their personal growth projections and KPIs. Can you give us some tips on how you would help a small business who can't afford at this point in time in their business journey to engage someone like yourself in that upper echelon?
Definitely, there's a number of things they can do in the initial or early stages of business when there is a lot more chaos, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of uncertainty. So trying to take some control back and build some awareness of what's going on beyond the day-to-day issues of the business starts with getting a really clear picture of your numbers. And once you get a clear picture of your numbers, that's really when you start moving from being a reactive style business manager to a more proactive style. So what the methodology, I suppose, we take clients through is having the right systems in place first to achieve that. Then once we have the right systems in place, we can start looking back at the past. How has a business traded? What are the hot revenue months, cold revenue months? What do margins look like? What does the cash flow look like? So the business owner starts understanding their business deeper. If you start understanding your own business deeper, then you can better anticipate what's coming and be proactive to it. So if you know you're going to have a slump around Christmas, maybe run a marketing campaign before that. So it's not difficult to get started and do these sorts of things even from the early stages, like I mentioned before. A product like Xero is fantastic to subscribe to and start doing your accounting in there on the cloud. You can access it anywhere. It's just about plugging your bank feeds in and all your data loads in. It also takes away having to gather all your receipts and dockets at the end of the year to give to your tax accountant. So once you have that in place, then we can start looking at, well, how did we do in May? How did we do last year? How did we do this last quarter? So we start seeing, as I mentioned, those trends. When we start seeing those trends, we can then start looking at forecasting, building a budget, which is what a lot of businesses do. You build a budget, you go, okay, if it looks like we're going to make X in the next 12 months, well, I'm comfortable spending Y, so now I've got Z left for myself. So we sort of call that approach like having the right infrastructure to create insight and then develop foresight. So as you can sort of see, it's not difficult for a small business owner to do that themselves.
Brilliant. So technology is one of the biggest tools that you guys are using right now.
Definitely, it's changed the game, and that's why I think so many people are getting into self-employment themselves, because there's just so many tools there to make the journey that little bit easier.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for your time, Peter, today. I got a lot out of it, and I know our viewers did as well. Thank you again. So to conclude today, talk to your accountants, talk to your advisors and your lawyers for your own personal circumstances to be taken into account before you make a financial decision, because getting the right advice will really steer you in the right direction. Next week we have Clint Luna, the CEO of Find Your MVP, to talk about staffing solutions and getting the right team for success. Thank you today, and thanks again, Peter.
Thanks, George.